I'm Dan Goldberg. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Bridgement. Bridgement is a fintech company, which basically just means a finance technology company. And what we do is we specialize in getting funding to small businesses around South Africa. It's as easy as that. The way we do that is through some smart and innovative technology and data science to make it a lot easier and a lot simpler for small businesses to access funding where they may struggle to obtain funding from other traditional institutions like their bank or other credit providers out there. When you ask a small business owner, where do you get funding from? The natural response, the default response, is to say, I get funding from my bank. Where else would I get funding from? And there's been a lot of education in the market over the last few years to educate business owners and help them understand that there are actually alternative sources to obtaining funding other than the bank. So you have what I'll refer to as alternative funders or non-bank credit providers out there. These tend to be smaller private institutions or even private individuals that might offer some sort of credit or funding products. They typically focus on larger deal sizes, larger transactions, because they don't have all of the support infrastructures and systems and people to offer smaller type loans and credit facilities. And then you have what I refer to as fintech companies or fintech funding companies like Bridgement, who use and leverage technology to simplify access to funding and to make it easier for small businesses to get funding. So you might find that a business within their first few years of trading might not be able to get funding from the bank because they don't have sufficient track record. But with the fintech company, because of the way the fintech uses alternative data and uses innovative ways of assessing and underwriting a customer, they can actually get funding, even though they have such a small or short trading history and they're sort of still new in business. Bridgement has clients that look very different. So we have quite a broad spectrum of clients. They're all SMEs, so they are all businesses. We don't do any consumer finance. They're all businesses, but we have clients that are in every industry, just about. We have clients in every province because we're an online digital company. We have clients all over the show. We're not limited to our physical branch network like a bank might be. And in terms of size of businesses, we have quite a broad spectrum of sizes of clients. So we have anything from a one-man band, a small business doing R1 million annual turnover, to businesses doing north of R100 million annual turnover. So really a broad spectrum. I would say the bulk of our clients and where we really focus and try and solve the gap in the market are small businesses. So businesses, sub about R50 million annual turnover, but that varies. So anyone, that has just been started and has been trading for 6 months, to people that have been in business for 20 years, really does depend. What we don't do is we don't fund brand new startups. So we can't fund a brand new entrepreneur that hasn't begun trading. And the reason for that is just because we need some data to assess a client and determine their creditworthiness and whether we can provide funding them to. But we don't need much. So at a minimum, we just need clients to have 6 months of trade history. It's quite different to a bank. Traditionally, banks will require at least 2 or 3 years before they would offer you any sort of funding, as well as many other requirements and checkboxes. But we only require 6 months trade history. We also require you to be a formal business, so you have to have registered your company, be a PTY or a CC or an Inc. or any of the other types of companies out there, and you have to be a South African entity. We very squarely focus on solving this problem of accessing funding for businesses in South Africa. So I have quite a untraditional background in the finance world, at least. So my qualification is in biomedical engineering and electrical engineering, and that's really where my background came, in terms of technology and data science. I ended up in the world of finance because I went into management consulting after qualifying as an engineer. And in management consulting, I was consulting to financial institutions large corporates, banks in South Africa and in Nigeria, where I lived for just over half a year. And it was really there where I got exposed to the world of finance and banking. And I also got first-hand experience of how inefficiently some of the traditional financial institutions operate and how lots of small businesses tend to get overlooked because of that. And it was sort of that long and windy journey that led me into this world of fintech, where I combined my newfound interest in finance with my existing passion in technology and data science to go into the fintech startup space and ultimately start Bridgman. I started the business at the end of 2016, so it's been a good 4.5 years or so since then, and we continue to build the tech. It never ends. In terms of how long it took us to get up and running, it probably took a good year and a half to get that initial, what's referred to as an MVP, minimum viable product of the platform up and running, and so that we could start dispersing funding to SMEs. But of course, it's a continued sort of work in progress, and I think always will be. With software, you never ever finish developing. It's always a work in progress. I'm super excited for a number of reasons. I think the first one is that I've always enjoyed face-to-face interactions, being able to see and engage with people. I find I get a lot more value out of that than on video calls or virtual environments. I think virtual webinars and things have their place and have been really important during COVID, where it's been difficult to run in-person events, but I've really missed it. And so I haven't been to an in-person event for a long time, over a year since before COVID, and I'm really excited to go to the first business in-person event in a post-COVID world. So really excited about that. The second reason why I'm so excited is because this event is on a cricket pitch at a stadium that I've grown up going to, watching games, watching our cricket teams play here. And so to be able to have an event on a cricket pitch, I can't say I've ever done that before. I'm super excited about it. It's nice to be outside in the sunlight, breathing the fresh air, COVID friendly as well. And once again, seeing people face to face and engaging with the business owners and the SMEs that we look out for and look to work with so much.